Music, let me tell you something that changed me. Not a headline, not a number, but a family. In the center of a city turned to rubble, I found light. In the heart of Gaza, where the sky often shakes with the sound of warplanes and the air is filled with thick smoke from fallen buildings, I discovered something I never saw coming. Humanity, raw and unshaken. Not the kind you read about in articles or see in glossy photo spreads. This was real. Quiet. Strong. It was there in how a father gently lifted his daughter over a pile of broken concrete with hands that had surely carried too much sorrow. It was in the way neighbors helped one another, not thinking of themselves but of survival, and kindness. The destruction around me was like nothing I had ever known. Streets that once held laughter now echoed with distant bombs and the quiet sobs of people without homes. Children played in the dust, their games full of innocence and strength, two things that shouldn't have to live side by side, but did. That was my first sign. Even as the world around them burned, these people held each other like lifelines. They never let go. They never turned cold. I remember a boy, maybe 7 years old, who offered me a piece of bread. Just a torn corner of the little he had, but he held it out to me like a feast. His face was dusty, his shirt was too big and worn out, but his eyes carried something far heavier than any child should know. Was it understanding? He said nothing. He didn't need to. That small act was louder than any explosion. We still care. There was also the family that welcomed me into their space. Their home had no roof, only cracked walls and shattered windows, but it stood like a symbol of defiance. The mother moved with quiet grace, sweeping the floor like it mattered, like keeping some dignity alive in small tasks. She poured tea from a dented kettle and handed me a cup like it was treasure. She didn't speak English. I didn't speak Arabic. But somehow, we spoke just fine. There is a language older than words, made of looks and hands and silence, and we spoke it fluently. Her husband sat nearby, silent but watchful. His eyes scanned the horizon, not out of fear, but from a need to protect, to stay strong, to carry on for the ones around him. He looked at me and in his gaze, I didn't see fear or hate, but love. The kind that doesn't break under pressure. The kind that still stands when everything else has fallen. That kind of love is rare. And I stood right in the middle of it. Then there was the sound of a blast far away. The children didn't flinch. They turned to their mother, and she gave them the smallest, calmest nod. That was all they needed. That nod was her shield, her promise, her quiet superpower. I watched her become a wall made of care. And right then, I understood something. Strength isn't loud. It isn't being without fear. It's pouring tea with shaking hands, and smiling anyway. I had come there with ideas in my mind, shaped by comfort and distance. But they melted away. The chaos didn't vanish. But inside it, I saw what truly matters. The love, the giving, the powerful choice to stay human when the world makes it so easy not to be. Fear isn't a visitor in Gaza. It's always there. A daily wait. You hear sirens, the low hum of drones above, it presses down on you, sits heavy in your chest. Plans, prayers, even bedtime kisses are shaped by it. And still, in the middle of all that fear, I saw something that defied reason. Something stronger than the rubble. Faith. Not faith performed for others. Not empty words. This was deep, burning belief. The kind that doesn't vanish when everything you've built is taken. The kind that keeps you holding on, even when your eyes see no reason left to. That kind of faith is rare. That kind of faith is powerful. I saw it living and breathing in a Muslim family who had lost almost everything, but not their faith, not their hope. They prayed 5 times a day. I watched them, surrounded by broken walls, floors that used to hold furniture, now just dirt and dust. There was no mosque, no prayer rug, just cracked tiles and open sky. But they faced Mecca with more confidence than I've faced anything in my life. Their prayers were soft, but filled the air with something stronger than sound. Presence. Connection. Not just to God, but to something greater, something war and fear couldn't touch. There was a boy, maybe 12 years old, reciting Quran verses. His voice steady, his hands shaking a little, but his eyes didn't. He had lost his uncle just a week earlier, yet he sat cross-legged and led his younger siblings in prayer like a guardian of something holy. That wasn't faith used to escape. It wasn't weakness. It was armor. And the mother, she was the heart of everything. After bombs fell, she would gather her children, check them, whisper a prayer over their heads. Her voice never cracked. Not once. She kept repeating, Alhamdulillah. Praise be to God. Again and again. Not because she was in denial, but because she truly believed that life, even a single breath of it, was still a gift. I didn't know what to say to that. What could I say? Where I come from, faith is often based on things going well. But here, in this war-torn place, belief had nothing to do with comfort. It was belief in spite of. That changed me. One night, I asked the Father, through a translator, how he stayed so strong. He looked up at the sky and simply said, "Fear doesn't win when you trust the one who writes the story." That line stayed with me. This family had no clean water. No electricity. No guarantee of tomorrow. But they had something you can't bomb or burn. Faith like fire, quiet, strong, alive, even in the dark. And what I saw in them was more than survival. It was a kind of victory. A victory of the soul. It doesn't make the news. But it moves mountains. They taught me what it really means to be strong. Not by raising your fists, but by lifting your eyes. Her smile didn't belong there. Not in that place. Not with broken buildings and smoke from burning tires. Not in a home more exposed than safe. And yet, it was there. Soft. Warm. Defiant. A mother's smile, glowing in the ruins like a light that wouldn't go out. I remember walking into what had once been her kitchen. Now it was just a slab of concrete with bits of metal and stone scattered everywhere. She was barefoot, sweeping the floor as if it could ever be clean again. Her scarf was wrapped neatly. Her face calm. Her eyes steady. When she turned to look at me, a stranger, someone who had never seen real war, she smiled. And something cracked in me. Because I expected anger, or sorrow, or numbness. She had every right to feel those things. But what I saw wasn't defeat. It was strength. The kind that keeps a family together when the world is falling apart. Her youngest child, no more than 5, tugged her sleeve. She bent down, kissed his forehead, said something, and he laughed. Laughed. In that place. That sound froze time. It made no sense. And maybe that's what made it matter so much. Her smile wasn't just a smile. It was proof. Proof that love still lives in ruin. That life, even broken, is sacred. She moved through her day like any mother might. Checking her children. Folding what clothes remained. Preparing the little food they had like it was a royal meal. No electricity. No water. No certainty. But there was rhythm. Care. Even joy. Not loud joy, but quiet. Hidden in corners. In acts. In that smile. Later, I asked her how she stayed so calm. She looked at her children. And said, if I break, they break. If I smile, they smile. That wasn't just a performance. It was protection. Her smile was armor. Not for her, but for them. A shield. That smile had seen sirens and silence. It had comforted fear, welcomed friends, grieved, hoped, and held on. It was tired. Stretched thin. But it never faded. Even when she spoke of the son she had buried. Even when she pointed to the hole in the wall that used to be her bedroom. Even when her eyes filled with tears, her lips stayed still. That smile remained. And that kind of courage doesn't win medals. But it changes people. It changed me. I've seen heroes. But never bravery like hers. Quiet. Steady. Wrapped in warmth and grace. When I left, she hugged me. Her hands were rough. Her grip was strong. Like she was giving me something. Not pity. Not sorrow. But strength. Like she was saying, take this. Tell them we're still here. Tell them we still smile. And I will. Because a mother's smile in a war zone isn't just a smile.